folks. My name is Mo Amir, and this is VANCOLOUR, British Columbia's bona fide culture and politics TV talk show. We have a trio of lawyers tonight covering a smorgasbord of legal expertise from immigration law to human rights law to animal law to talk about things that affect you and Elon Musk. Can Canada revoke Elon Musk's citizenship as petitioned by over 300,000 Canadians? Did you sign the petition? You watched this show, so I'm going to guess that you did. But first, in 2010, nearly all veterinary clinics in Canada were independently owned. Today, 20% of vet clinics are corporately owned, as 6 major companies own about 800 clinics across Canada. How does this corporate consolidation of pet care affect the cost and care for your doggos and kitty cats? We know that the price of everything is going up, but when it comes to taking care of your animals, are you being overcharged and price gouged? Here to discuss is the founding lawyer of Breder Law, Western Canada's first exclusive animal law firm, a saint to animals across the country, Rebeka Breder. Rebeka, hello.
Hello.
So nice to see you.
You too. What an introduction. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here. So explain the corporate scene here that we have with vet clinics, because I didn't realize that it was like Loblaws and Save-On and we had all these oligopolies basically coming up.
Yeah, that's so true. I just wanted to set the backdrop
Please.
For a moment.
Yeah.
First of all, almost half, if not more, of Canadian households have at least one companion animal. That's either one dog or one cat.
Yeah.
And it could be anywhere between 50 to 60% of Canadian households. So
This affects a lot of people.
it affects a lot of people, and people treat their companion animals, or many do and should, as family.
Absolutely.
They are. They may have fur, they may have, paws, but they're family.
Yeah.
And so people really take the care of their companion animals very seriously, like I said, as they should. What we've been seeing over the last several years is this shift in the veterinary world, where instead of clinics being privately owned, they are being bought out by these mega corporate organizations.
Like private equity firms and just these conglomerates, right?
Well, these big corporations that are picking at veterinary clinics and kind of eating them up. And for many, that's a concern. And for others, it's not. And I have to admit, I kind of see both sides to this issue. I really do. I think as a backdrop, a further backdrop, it's that veterinarians, I would like to think anyway, and from what I've seen, most of them enter into this business for the right reasons. They care for animals, they want to help people and their animals, and they want to do good in the world, so to speak. But many of them, like I could speak for myself, even though it's been a long time now, graduating from university, from law school, graduating with a lot of debt, they carry that debt. Yeah. And so they want to enter into their business of helping animals, but they also have a lot of debt and they have to pay that off and they have to run a business.
Sure. Yeah,
so
that's fair.
And I think that's just the reality of it, and especially nowadays. So some of the ones that are just entering, like the younger ones, are entering into this profession with this background, right, with a lot of financial debt. They want to help people. And so they start working for these big corporations. And that in and of itself is not a bad thing.
But I guess ultimately, let's look at the two main aspects that we as animal care providers, and if we have animals in our family, would be concerned about. The first would be cost, and the second would be the actual quality of care. So based on this trend, are we seeing any effects to cost and care of our animal family members?
I don't know if there's really a causal effect between the corporatization of the veterinary field and the decrease in care and increase in cost, which some talk about, including myself. But I think it is a bit coincidental. I mean, I can only speak from my own experience. And I have unfortunately seen a decrease in care and an increase in cost. And now that said, I don't want to kind of paint all veterinarians with the same brush. Like I said, I really do think that most veterinarians are there for the right reasons. But what we see with just like any corporatization, including in the veterinary world, is that you have a standardization as well. So everything kind of starts becoming similar. They start losing, the veterinary clinics and veterinarians themselves, they start losing autonomy. They start losing their own way of doing things because they have to do it a certain way. They have to follow a certain protocol. And so there could be advantages and disadvantages. So the advantage being that there is a protocol, there's standardized equipment, there are certain things that you could expect. But by the same token, if you have that happening and you lose the ability as a professional to do it your own way, I think that can affect the standard of care in a bad way. And I'll give you an example if I can. And it's from one of my own cases. A dog comes into a clinic because his guardians thought that he ate something and it was lodged in him. And so my clients were telling the veterinary clinic, we think he ate something and it's stuck in him. And he described the symptoms, lethargy, throwing up after eating. And the dog was, like I said, brought into the clinic. And they really wanted the clinic to check whether there was something stuck in the dog. And the clinic, it took 2 full days with the dog being at the clinic for 2 full days before they ran a proper test that actually showed that something was stuck in the dog. Unfortunately, by that time, the intestines perforated and the dog ended up dying. And so what we see, or at least what I saw in this particular case, is that the veterinary clinic was following a certain protocol. They were following guidelines. Dog comes in, they have to do A, B, C. And even though my clients were like, you really have to check this. I'm pretty sure this is what's wrong. They had their own way of doing things.
Wow.
And it's an unfortunate result. This isn't the only case that I've had like this. And while, again, I can't make a direct causal connection between the corporatization, and this clinic is owned by one of the bigger corporate veterinary conglomerates. It's a bit of a coincidence to me, and that's my concern.
What can you do to ensure that your pet gets the best care in this environment?
If you're a pet owner, you want to make sure that you trust your vet. And sometimes you have to follow your gut. You really, really do. And if you feel that the veterinarian has done your animal wrong, you have 2 main choices. One is to speak to the College of Veterinarians of BC. That's a regulatory body that governs veterinarians. The other is to seek legal advice to see if there's anything that the person can do for their animal.
Well, I appreciate it, Rebeka. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
You're very welcome. Thank you.
Absolutely. Folks, dogs and cats agree. She's a gem. Animal law lawyer Rebeka Breder. Now, after some business, the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms protects our freedom of expression, which sometimes we refer to as free speech. But does your employer have any right to limit your free speech? We'll talk about it up next.